I was 19 years old when I finally gathered the courage to call the boy I had secretly loved since junior high, the boy who had lived quietly in my heart for 7 long years while I dated other people and tried to convince myself that he was only a memory, and when I told him the truth I expected rejection or at least awkward silence, but instead he confessed that he had always loved me too and had been too afraid to approach me. And in that single moment my entire world shifted, because suddenly the love story I had imagined as a child felt real and possible, so I began flying back to Alaska every couple of weeks to see him. Our friends celebrated us like a fairytale couple, and when he asked me to marry him after only a few months I said yes without hesitation, quit my job, packed my life into boxes, and shipped everything north so we could begin our future together. But only days before my final flight I began to feel sick and exhausted, and when I took a pregnancy test my hands trembled as I realized I was carrying his child, and with a heart full of joy I called him that night, only to hear him distracted at a party talking excitedly about another woman, and when I told him not to do anything he would regret I felt a strange heaviness in my chest that I could not explain, and when I tried to call back later someone else answered and said he could not come to the phone, and that night he never called me. And the next evening when he finally spoke to me he confessed that while I was trying to reach him he had slept with that same woman, and the shock made me physically ill. I hung up and vomited, and when he begged for forgiveness and asked me to still come I told him calmly that there was no chance I would marry a man who had chosen to betray me, and as if the universe itself wanted to punish me further, that same week I miscarried the baby, losing not only the man I loved but the child I had already begun to dream about, and yet I still had to fly back to Alaska because all my belongings were already there and I had nowhere else to go but his apartment, where he did not even bother to pick me up from the airport, and I sat alone crying until strangers tried to comfort me, and for 2 unbearable weeks I slept on his couch while he brought the woman he cheated with into his bedroom within earshot, night after night, and I cried silently so no one would hear, refusing to tell anyone about the pregnancy or the miscarriage because I would not allow myself to be painted as a crazy ex, and somewhere in that quiet suffering something inside me hardened, and I decided that if he could destroy my life so casually then I would at least leave a scar on his. So one night at another party I took the other woman aside, seduced her, and after it was over I told her everything, the engagement, the baby, the betrayal, and calmly warned her that a man who could do this to someone he planned to marry would one day do it to her too, and the next day when he confronted me I told him coldly that I had simply done what he had done, and the look on his face was the first moment of satisfaction I had felt in weeks, and then I left Alaska and disappeared from his life, and 5 years later, married and pregnant again and finally happy, I received a call from him, and through tears he told me how karma had dismantled his life piece by piece, how the woman left him for his best friend, how he was fired on Christmas Eve, how his truck was impounded, how his family disowned him, how his friends beat him and threw him into the snow and locked him out of his own home, and how he had lost everything. And that was when I finally told him about the baby we had lost, and on the phone I listened to him sob in a way I had never heard before, apologizing over and over as I calmly told him that he did not know because he never cared enough to ask. And when I ended the call I realized that the greatest revenge I had ever taken was not seducing another woman or humiliating him, but surviving, healing, and building a life so full and peaceful that the man who once shattered my heart could only listen from the ruins of his own and finally understand what it truly meant to lose everything.